Of the staggering 1.25 million people experiencing mental distress each year in New Zealand, only 400,000 people are being served by government or private systems. That leaves 850,000 people left to figure it out for themselves. My name is Connor Goldie. I am a partner, a son, a brother, a friend, and a young New Zealander. This issue affects me whether I like it or not. That is why I embrace the challenge of picking apart the mental health system and suggesting a prototype that could change the system to better serve the 850,000 people who have nowhere to turn. The process started with a vision, dreaming of what a highly functional mental well-being system for young New Zealanders would look like. For me, it is a system built on a society that glamorizes being happy and healthy, as opposed to being productive or wealthy. It is a system that has readily available resources for when people do find themselves in distress, so they are able to find practical help for a cheap or free charge in a way that is sustainable. But how can this vision be brought to life? I needed to take a step back. I needed to apply design thinking and systems thinking skills to the challenge. The first step of the design thinking process is empathizing. I had to narrow down where in the system I wanted to direct my focus and empathize with the relevant people and relationships. I discovered that the problem lies disproportionately with young adults. 18 to 24-year-olds are far more likely to report experiencing depression, anxiety, or mental distress than older groups. I had to focus on this demographic, as young adults represent the majority of the 850,000. For me, it is easy to empathise with New Zealand young adults who have depression, anxiety, or mental distress, as there are so many people I know who have lived and shared this experience. I applied the design thinking tool of empathy mapping to clearly understand the issues that distressed young adults are experiencing with the way the system exists currently. I then took this understanding of their lived experiences of the system to identify the relationships and parts at play in the system around them, both to understand the system and to further empathize with the user. My systems map helped me to understand the mental well-being system as a whole. Using the 6 conditions framework, I was able to see how parts of the system could change to influence one or more of the 6 systemic change conditions. I did this referring to the 6 conditions framework. The next stage in the design thinking process was to define. I was able to recognize that one of the key problems in the system was that young adults struggle to live a balanced lifestyle due to modern pressures, stresses, and technologies. They find themselves feeling distressed, anxious, or depressed, with no available or accessible resources to put them back on their feet. Research showed me that the system needs to address the needs of individuals as opposed to applying a one-size-fits-all solution. According to Dan Kahn and John Harries from HighLeap, we're moving toward a more patient-centric and digitally enabled technology ecosystem, a vision that requires significant innovation by the healthcare system, by industry, and by healthcare innovators to reach. It also showed me that balance is crucial for mental well-being. This is Te Whare Tapa Whā, a Māori model that compares the aspects of your well-being to the 4 cornerstones of a house. It describes how an individual needs to pay attention to their psychological, family, physical, and spiritual health in order to have balance. According to the New Zealand Government's Mental Health Guide for New Zealanders, common markers of mental health status are grouped into 6 themes: mood, performance, sleep patterns, physical health, social interaction, and activities. A vital factor in bettering the system for the 850,000 is making sure that the system is supporting a balanced lifestyle for individuals. However, young adults aren't offered a personalised service at an affordable price that provides combined expertise to empower young adults to live a balanced lifestyle. So the question was established: what is a change that can improve the system in a way that innovatively promotes a balanced lifestyle for young adults that is personalised and sustainable? The next step was to use the information I got from the systems thinking tools and the previous stages of the design thinking process to ideate. In this section, I discuss my idea that will meet Ember Innovation's challenge. This idea draws on Ember Innovation's practices of supporting and canalizing collaboration, empowering communities, and creating communities of practice from different organizations. After brainstorming and referring back to my empathy maps and systems map, I narrowed down my thinking to a single idea: the introduction of well-being centers and communities. A wellbeing centre would be a physical environment that convenes mental health practitioners, entertainers, activity hosts, physicians, nutritionists, family counsellors, and etc. The purpose of a wellbeing centre would be to strengthen the aspects of the system that already exist and create new pathways to promote a personalised, balanced lifestyle for the young adults whose needs aren't being met. Ideally, the physical space of the Wellbeing Centre would be calming and vibrant and have facilities to support a range of activities. Young adults could attend scheduled programs and events, come once off to open activities like comedy nights, or simply use the space. Wellbeing centres would promote collaboration between individual organisations. It would be a place where therapists could join forces to reach young adults, and a place that can host expos and events with a variety of practitioners. The Wellbeing Centre could solve the systemic issue of neglect for hundreds of thousands of young adults by establishing strong connections and promoting collaboration between people and organisations that exist in the system already. It could solve the issue that young adults aren't being empowered or supported in living a balanced lifestyle with personalised, practical support for their mental well-being. To make sure this idea was suitable, I put it through a DVFE model. A DVFE model is a framework that prompts you to question how desirable, viable, feasible and ethical an idea is, and use that to construct an assumptions map. My assumptions map revealed to me what aspects of my plan required more planning, what could be evaluated, what could be deferred, and where I could generate more ideas. It showed me how grounded my idea was based off of my assumptions and put into context how important, unimportant, known and unknown my assumptions were. This proved the idea was worth pursuing and allowed me to move to the next step. The next stage of the process was to prototype. I had an idea that responded to the challenge, but it was big and outlandish. I needed to reduce the idea to a prototype that can be tested. My prototype consists of 2 artifacts, the first being a journey map of a young adult who engages with the Wellbeing Centre. Let me explain. 19-year-old Jason from Papakura is feeling burnt out and has been experiencing regular panic attacks. He has been turned down from government support, and private practitioners are unavailable and too expensive. Jason does a quick Google search and discovers that he has a local wellbeing centre just a short drive away. From the comfort and safety of his bedroom, he makes a free account with the organisation and is prompted to fill out a short questionnaire to determine his mental state. The Wellbeing Centre offers a range of free or low-cost programs to enrol in that encourage a balanced lifestyle and are customisable to suit Jason's individual needs. He decides to use the automatically suggested program based off of his questionnaire. Monday, group therapy session and food. Tuesday, soccer. Wednesday, individual life coach session. Thursday, nutritionist session. And Friday, ball game night. After following this program, he starts to notice that he's feeling less burnt out and more stable. He decides to continue attending the sessions and even attends events held at the Wellbeing Centre to sustain his balanced lifestyle. My second artifact is this illustration of the Wellbeing Centre itself. The final phase of the design thinking process is to test. How can this prototype be tested? How can this idea be implemented to support the vision? The Wellbeing Centre could start very small. It could start with gathering a small group consisting of a few practitioners. For example, a therapist, a nutritionist, and an activity host. They could meet in current rec centres, school halls, cafes, parks, or other public spaces and set up a simple program. Young adults attending the test program sessions could start by filling out an anonymous survey on their mental well-being and take the same survey when they finish, with additional questions on what they would change or what they think about the larger idea of wellbeing centres. If the test is successful, the group could request government funding and do fundraising events and get volunteers to help run activities. They could expand and potentially build dedicated spaces and advertise to young adults. 850,000 people in New Zealand, mostly consisting of young adults aged 18 to 24, are feeling some form of mental distress each year without any government or private support. To tackle this issue, I mapped out the current system and used design thinking principles to generate an idea and a prototype that can be tested, in hopes of bettering the system to reach these young New Zealanders. I came up with the idea of introducing wellbeing centres to the system, to draw on the strengths of the current system, promoting collaboration between experts and empowering young adults to live a balanced lifestyle to facilitate mental well-being. My name is Connor Goldie, and thank you for listening.